everyone. Welcome to the Name One Player podcast. My name is Nicole. I am your host. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say a huge thank you to every single person for hitting play today. The Name One Player podcast is a place for women to talk about the sports that they love without ever being asked to name one player, because that's really annoying, and we're not going to do that. I might get you to share a time that you have been asked to name one player, because often those stories are quite funny, but there'll be no quizzing here on this show, I promise you. If you like the Name One Player podcast, I would absolutely love it if you could subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening to the podcast. If you could like the show, rate the show. I think 5 stars is best, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's on you. I trust you to make the rating that you see fit. You can also follow the Name One Player podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I am on TikTok really all the time, more than I am doing anything else. So if you like the podcast and you want to follow along with some updates on the show and some other things that I'm just putting out there regarding my thoughts on whatever is going on in the world of sports, definitely follow along on social media. This week, we have something exciting for you all, and that is we have 2 episodes. If you remember, I started experimenting with this format a few months ago, and I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I went back to just posting once a week, and then I kind of fell off with posting because things got real hectic and real in December. But we're back, and I thought, you know what? Let's dabble with our 2-a-week episodes again. And I'm so excited for the guests that we have on for these 2 episodes, because both of the episodes are going to be fantastic. And that is because we have Victoria Henderson on this week. Today's episode is going to be focused all about Victoria and her background of becoming a sports, particularly an NFL fan. And Victoria has also created her own podcast called The Game, and we're going to get all into what inspired her to do that. I am also going to ask Victoria if she has any advice for anybody who's listening who might, have this inkling, this little flame of desire to start their own podcast. I have a feeling that she's going to have some really great advice for anybody who might be interested in doing that, taking that next step. That is what today's episode is going to be focused on. The episode that is going to be out later in the week, Victoria and I will be chatting about my favorite thing in the world, the National Football League. And we're going to be talking, obviously, about the Super Bowl that is coming up, the Super Bowl matchup with the Seahawks and the Patriots. But we're also going to be getting into our thoughts on the NFL season as a whole. But that's later in the week. Today, we got Victoria ready to go, and we're going to be chatting all about her and the Game podcast, and I'm so excited. Let's just hop into it, shall we? All right, everyone, without further ado, please welcome Victoria. All right, everybody, we have Victoria here with us. Victoria, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm great. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you today. So thanks for having me on Name One Player.
Yes, of course. And I said this a little bit in my intro, but we actually have something special in store for all the listeners. We have 2 episodes this week, and this is kind of a part 1, I guess you could say, of the episode. And we're going to be chatting all about you and chatting all about your own podcast, The Game. And then also, maybe if you have any advice for any listeners who might kind of want to be going down this road too. But let's start out. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Wow. Big question.
I know, right?
So I'm from San Diego.
Okay.
And I am a realtor and a personal trainer. And I became a football fan only like 3 years ago, which has been really interesting in the industry, meeting other people who are like, I was born in a Colts onesie. And I'm like, not me. The Chargers left us when I was, I don't know.
That's such a good point. That is such a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'll just say it now. I went to San Diego on a girls' trip years ago,
So
and this
fun.
was like right when the Chargers had left, or maybe a year before. And we were all like, oh, let's get Chargers tattoos, or let's get a tattoo. And then we're like, let's get lightning bolt tattoos for the Chargers because of the San Diego trip.
Yeah.
And we did, and I also was not really a football fan at this time at all. I was just like, "Oh, a lightning bolt, that's kinda cute." And actually the lightning bolt that my 2 other friends got, I didn't like their lightning bolt, so I got a different one, so it's not even really the Chargers lightning bolt. Another side thing, a lot of people think it's a Harry Potter tattoo, and I don't
Yeah.
dislike Harry Potter at all, but I am not the one to get a Harry Potter
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah,
So,
you're
yeah.
like, "Harry Potter's fine, but not tattooed on my body."
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, little San Diego lore. I'm so sorry for interrupting you.
No.
Continue on.
Wait, where's your tattoo? I feel like we have
It's
to
like
unpack this.
it's
Where's your tattoo?
right on, like, anybody watching the YouTube version, it's, like, right there. Like, like, not scandalous enough, it's not, like, on the booty, but it's, like, kind of on
Yeah.
the
Okay.
but it's funny, I do have a Vikings tattoo because I love the Vikings. That's, like, a legitimate tattoo. I
Okay.
always say that I got a Chargers tattoo before I got a Vikings tattoo.
That is why how fun. Me and my sister always say we're gonna do that, and then we never do.
Yeah. No, I'm the one who's like, all my friends are like, "Let's get tattoos." I'm like, "No, no, no, let's book it, like, now. Like, you can't say this to me and then we don't do it, we're doing it." So, yeah, you can
Yeah.
get people just might think it's a Harry Potter tattoo if you get a lightning bolt,
Yeah. At least
just
it's not
keep
on
in
your
mind.
face.
There you go. Imagine. Alright, continue on. I'm so sorry for hijacking
I love it.
your introducing yourself.
No, I love it. Yeah, so the Chargers left San Diego, and that was kind of like the end of any football nest for me, until, yeah, about like 3 full seasons ago, and I lost a bet on a date and became
Oh.
a Lions fan.
No
Yeah.
way. Oh my
Mhm.
god. That is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like we went on a date, had dinner, went to a
Okay.
bar, we're playing pool, and I once I get, like, a little tipsy, I love a low
I
stakes
love a
bet,
bet. Yeah, of
right?
course.
Like, I'm like, "This is our 2nd date, like, who knows?" The guy's super cool, I'm like, I'm having a great time, but I'm like, "Let's bet on it," and I'm thinking we're gonna bet, like, another drink, and he says,
Mhm.
"Okay, well, if you lose, you have to become a Lions fan."
Was
And I'm
he a
like,
Lions fan?
yes, like
Okay.
lifelong diehard family Lions
Interesting.
fan. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have a team. I lose the bet
You're a Lions fan now. Okay.
and I become a Lions fan and I just decide right then and there, like, I am gonna send it. Like, I want
Yeah.
a jersey, I want merch, I
Yep.
wanna be in it, I wanna host game
That's
day.
hilarious.
And
Sorry again for
yeah,
interrupting. Are you in
yeah.
San Diego at this point?
Yes, I'm in San Diego.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Lions
And
fan
I
in San
just
Diego.
happened to meet a guy on the internet who was a big Lions
That's
fan.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, you
yeah.
send it. Who was your first Lions jersey?
St. Brown.
Okay. Fair
Mhm.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, which is wild because the first kind of, like, household name WAG interview that I had was Brooklyn Adams.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so it was,
so
like, really full
fun.
circle, and I was like, "I'm not gonna say that my first jersey is St. Brown," and I'm like
I
I was like, "I'm gonna
love
be cool."
that. That's so fun. Tell me about how the game got started. You're in this bar 3 years ago,
Yep.
and now you're a Lions fan, and now you have a whole football podcast.
Yeah, so when I got into it, I realized there's just nobody speaking about this in the way that I want to.
Mm, mhm.
And so my boyfriend and I at the time would be sitting on the couch and I'd have like really quippy one-liners about the players or like you nickname them things
Yeah,
and whatever. And
that's so
I
funny.
decide that I'm going to be in it, but I'm just like in it for the fun. Like I'm in it
Mhm.
to like enjoy sport. I'm a personal trainer. Like I understand athletics and body movement and all of that, but like nobody's speaking about it in a way that's fun to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to listen to podcasts. Like I was ready to go. And when I started researching a lot of podcasts, two problems. One, very few women
Yeah.
actually talking about sport. And then two is so many of the takes were so similar. And I was
Yeah.
getting so bored of hearing and there's so many great sports broadcasters. There's so many great shows out there. But I was getting so bored of hearing men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s saying the same things,
Yeah.
occasionally having a hot take about how they don't like someone, but it's kind of ungrounded. And I was
Yeah.
like, first of all, I'm bored. Second of all, I've already heard this. And third of all, w- when is anybody going to say anything like fun?
Yeah. That's so true. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so now that I'm in it, I know that there's so many women building shows, podcasts, things like that, but I couldn't find them when I first became a fan, and so
Mhm.
about a year and a half ago, I made one single episode, and my podcast was gonna be called Flag on the Play,
Okay.
and I made one single episode, and it's, like, 4 minutes long as, like, an intro, and
Okay.
then I hate it. I was like, "This is horrible, like, why
Oh,
would anyone listen to this?" Right? Like, there was no hook. It was so boring,
okay.
essentially. So I was like, "Okay, I don't have time for this." Like, I'm a realtor. I'm grinding my face off trying to make it in San Diego. Like, I don't have time to, like, do this. And then, uh, that boyfriend and I broke up summer of last year, and I feel like I just had all this energy to, like, put into something, and I posted one TikTok and I said, "Does anybody wanna start an NFL podcast with me?" And that TikTok blew up.
Oh my god, amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is proof of concept that,
Yeah,
A, there are girls out here who wanna listen to other women speak about sport,
totally.
and B, there's 6,000 girls who wanna be a co-host on this."
Yeah.
Like, the proof of concept was there so quickly, and I was like, "Okay, like, I have to do this now. Like, I
Uh-huh.
can't not do it." And then I interviewed co-hosts, and I just started. So that's kinda how it came about.
I love that. That is so fun. Okay. I mean, so much about what you said. I completely agree. And I wrote this part down about how, you know, I do think it's shifting a little bit now. I think people are getting
Mhm.
a little bit more kind of out there with their takes, but
Yes.
definitely 3 years ago, the sports analysts, the people that
Mhm.
you see on ESPN and Fox and all of that kind of stuff, they really were saying the same things. They were sitting around this table, but it's almost like they didn't want to ruffle any feathers and they were just saying
Yes.
the most like basic things. And I remember watching around that time too. And I think I got into football just a few years prior to you, so not
Okay.
much
Yeah.
before that. And I remember thinking like, I mean, anybody could do this. Like, why are
Yeah.
like why is it so like, oh my gosh, women can't talk about sports? But these men are exactly what you're saying, all saying the same things, so surface level, like not even really getting into anything deeper than just I mean, I guess what they see. And of course that is like you are supposed to be talking about what you see, but like
Right.
there's so many behind the scene things, talking about like wags and stuff, like so many
Mhm.
things about their lives that I feel like really do impact play that I think men for a long time just like either weren't realizing or
Mhm.
just didn't wanna touch on or whatever it may be, and
Right.
so funny what you're saying too about, like, the little clips when you're watching and stuff, and I too I did the exact same thing. I was sitting with my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, "I'm hilarious, number 1, like, these
Yeah.
are this is so good, like, why is nobody saying these things?" Like, I would love
Yeah.
to watch 2 women just imagine, this is now the dream, okay? We're commentating a game. Oh, we would be on
Yeah.
fire.
I
But
would kill
so I
it.
remember going on Twitter. I remember thinking, like, I could just tweet my thoughts about the game. And I remember the thought process was, oh, but if I show that I'm a woman, the comments that I will get aren't gonna be like, "Oh, this is funny." They're gonna be like, "You don't like, what are you talking about? You don't even
Right.
know." So I, for a very long time, didn't put my name out there. I didn't put my face out there. I was a picture of
Interesting.
Will Smith, and my name was crying for years for me talking on Twitter and kind of grew some traction there. But then
Yeah.
once I put my name and my face out there, the responses changed so significantly. But going
Interesting.
back, to your podcast, I love that you noticed that there was noticeable lack of women just
Mhm.
talking about, yeah, of course, the analytics, the statistics, whatever, but just also like the lifestyle, I guess, of the game
Mhm.
and just
Yeah.
what you're seeing in a different way that I think a lot of women can relate to. And for me, that's what makes football fun. So I
Mhm.
absolutely love that you have done that. Okay, so you find your co-host, you do some interviews. How was that also, by the way? Like kind of interviewing different people. Like what were you going off of?
Okay. This is one of my favorite parts about my entire story, and I think this will be one of my favorite parts forever.
Okay.
So my sister is visiting from Texas.
Okay.
We're at my dad's house. My dad lives on a large plot of land with a pool, and I get out of the pool, and I just look at my sister, and I'm like, "This is insane," because I am interviewing women for a job that doesn't exist for a company that I made up.
That's
And
hilarious.
I had 14 co-host interviews. Like, I did a
Wow.
lot of them. I'm so proud that it's actually become something, and we've grown a lot, and we've had the blessing of having so many incredible guests on, but it was crazy because I was interviewing girls who knew so much more about sports than I did.
Yeah.
And it was wild to sit down with these women, and I'm the one who kind of, like, had the idea and initially was like, "I'm willing to put myself out there and say that I wanna do this and do a lot of the back end work," but I was interviewing just the most intelligent, qualified, like, wonderful women
Mhm.
to do this with me, and it was honestly inspiring. It was after the one of the first interviews, I was, like, intimidated because a lot of these women were amazing, and one of the interesting things was a lot of the women said, "I've had an idea to do a podcast for quite some time."
Yeah.
And that was very surprising to me, and I'm like, "There's no reason why they couldn't do it even now because they're just incredible, incredible women." And one of the things also that I took away from that was just like how necessary it is that women are on the mic, but also that women own the mic and
Yeah.
own the table because as you were talking about earlier with football and the NFL has become much more of like a lifestyle sport, even from the NFL's perspective. I like to say that like the NFL has gone through a renaissance over the last, I would say like 5 to 7 years, and we're kind of seeing the fruit of it
Yeah.
now. But there's a lot of women who are asking men's questions and asking men's opinions when you see like a CBS broadcast come on and there's a woman who asks a man his opinion when she also has a well thought out, qualified opinion. And so doing those
Yeah.
interviews was just a reminder of how incredible women are. And that kind of helped found the basis of the mission, which is to amplify feminine voices in sport, not just to say this is NFL for the girls because we're girly and we don't know plays.
Yeah.
It's to say, like, we're intelligent and we can build our own table. We don't need to just have a seat at yours so that you can direct us on what to do.
I love that. That
Very
is
long
such a
winded
good point.
answer.
No, that's great, and I think that's such a good point too, that it's like I mean, the game isn't necessarily just for women, like you said, and I love the podcast or NFL for the girls. I love that. I
Mhm.
think they're great, but, like, I think we're at a point now where exactly what you said, like, women are so intelligent, and we do have these intelligent takes about football, about sports, about really anything,
Yeah.
and I think those are valuable takes for anybody to listen to, and
Mhm.
I've gotten so many comments from men, any of the men who listen that, like, aren't hate listening, those
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
ones are a little bit different, we'll put them in a different box, but
Yeah.
the ones who are
Yeah.
listening genuinely to hear, like, the takes of women because I do think it's fair to say that, women's brains and men's brains can sometimes just think and operate differently, and I think it's
Mhm.
so valuable for men to listen to the opinions of women and just kinda just hear things from a different lens. I think that's so important, and I love
Yeah.
that the game is doing that. Now, I've noticed on your socials, you kind of have been going through a bit of a rebrand. So,
We
can
have
you talk
been.
about that? Where did that come from? I'm loving the color scheme. I'm love
Thank you.
did like what? Did you just go on Canva? Like where did you find it? It's so beautiful. It looks so good. I am
Thank you.
obsessed. So tell me a little bit about what inspired the rebrand.
Yeah, so I had a co-host for a while on my show, and she's lovely. She has, like, 2 degrees in sports
Oh my
journalism.
god, amazing.
Yeah, yeah, she's great, but we kind of had different ideas of what we wanted for the show, and so we ultimately, like, ended up going separate ways, and when that happened, I kind of looked at my whole brand and started to think there's this saying in my head that says it's something along the lines of, like, make sure that if you're building a company, it's like the job you actually want. And so
Hmm.
it's like, if you hate doing something, don't build your entire business around something that you don't like. Like if you're going to
Yeah,
build the business, you might as well make it what you want.
of course.
And like don't get stuck in a job that you don't like. Like if you don't like doing social media, then don't build a company that's based around social media marketing.
Yeah, yeah.
I started to kind of like zoom out and look at the business side and the branding of it all. And I was like, does this embody what I want it to embody? And as I grow, does this match not only what I want the show to become, but like who I am?
Yeah.
And I love like a nice fabric. I'm a big pleasantries girl. Like ple-
Okay.
pleasantries mean a lot to me. I love like the details and things like the chill on a martini glass. I
Love it.
love big wine drinker. And I started to look at what I've built so far, which is essentially like a community of women who love the NFL. We have a Substack chat, and we have a fantasy football league of 1,300 women. And I wanted women when they came to my page to, and even men, to like feel like you've been invited to this thing that feels like a little bit posh and a little bit
Okay.
fun and a little bit like it'll elevate anybody who joins it.
Yeah.
So the color came from red wine. When you tilt a red
Love
wine glass in the
it.
sun, it's kind of like that, like burgundy, cherry, like sexy kind of feeling.
Mhm.
And then I wanted the font to look elegant because I want my personal brand to be something elegant. I don't like being stressed out. I have been actively trying not to be in a rush this year because I'd be in the shower like rushing. And I'm like, what am I rushing for? I'm 31. I don't have kids. I have my dream job in creating a podcast. Like, what am I what am I rushing
Yeah.
for? So I
Yeah.
wanted people to be able to come and show up and kind of have like a try to like elicit a feeling. So yes, I went on Canva. I also used like Google Gemini to like refine all of my stuff, and then eventually I would love to get like a full designer to come on and update everything just to like take it to that next level. But since we are
Mhm.
pretty small and our budget is time, it's all been like through Canva. But yeah, once my co-host left, I essentially looked at my entire brand and said, is this the brand that I want to identify with? Is this what I want people to look at me and see? Because essentially, especially with social media, you become synonymous with your brand.
Yeah.
So what do I want to represent me, and what do I want people to feel when they come to my page? And I want them to feel elevated. I feel like a lot of like the NFL is male driven. So a lot of it can be like True Gear, like the bright greens. And I'm like, You're not going to catch me in neon green. I'm sorry, it's not happening."
That is so funny. Well, I mean, you're definitely hitting that for sure. Again, when I kind of saw this, that burgundy, that's so true. Maybe that's why I loved it, because I was like, oh,
Because it reminds you of wine.
yes, maybe that
Yeah,
might have
let's
been
go to
it.
Napa. Let's have a cocktail.
Yes,
Let's have a cocktail in a
exactly.
sexy bar and talk
Love
about
it.
our opinions about the NFL, because that's what I want
Love
to
it.
do. I don't want to be
Absolutely.
in a bar with beer spilled on me. I want a gin martini in a chilled glass and my girlfriends wearing cute outfits,
I love it.
and I want to
I love
gossip
it.
and talk sports.
Yes. Like, why is that so hard?
Literally, it shouldn't be. And that's why we're here. That's why you and me
Exactly.
are
One
making our
day,
own way.
I know, I know, I know. I'm hearing the business ventures are like turning in my head.
I no,
I
I love that. Good.
That is so funny. But, I loved what you said about how when you were interviewing these women and, when you got so much traction on that post being like, does anybody want to start an
Mhm,
NFL podcast with me? And you said that, a lot of these women that you were talking to said like, oh, I've been wanting to make a podcast, but
mhm.
I didn't know where to start, or this has been on my mind for a while. And then seeing your post, like it really was like that push, because I have a lot of women asking me, how did you start Name One Player podcast? Like, what made you actually
Yeah.
do it? And for me, I was stuck for a really long time in that like limbo of, I want to do this podcast. I have this idea. There
Mhm.
is this gap to actually putting it out there.
Right.
So, my question for you is, do you have any advice for any women who might kind of be in that spot to just do it?
Yeah. Okay. I just made an Instagram post about this that's in my drafts folder.
Okay.
Um, and it's things that I'm glad that I didn't do before starting my podcast.
Okay.
And my number one thing is that you don't need people around you's approval to go after your vision, and that's what makes it yours. I have a lot of very incredible, very practical people in my life. And I don't think that the people who are pioneers and things are the most practical people you'll meet. I've
Okay.
never met someone in a position that I want to be in that was like, I did every step by the book, how it was
Yeah.
supposed to be done. And that's how I got here, because that's not like, so you have to be a little audacious. And if you have a vision, like if we trust so many people every single day, we trust drivers on the road, we trust our teachers, we trust our bosses, we trust the CEOs that run the companies that we're working for, we trust our friends. And if we can trust and put faith in all of those people, like, why can't you just put a little faith in yourself?
Totally. Oh,
And
I like
so,
that.
yeah, so I think that's my best advice is like, if you have a vision, remember that that vision is yours for a reason, and don't dilute it with other people's questions and other people's idea of what your vision or idea should look like, because that's what makes it yours and that's what makes it's special.
Totally. I love that. And that is a really good point too, because I mean, we do often say, like you said it, I've said it, a lot of the women who I have on here who maybe post sports social media content or have their own
Mhm.
podcasts, like we do often say like there definitely is a gap with women who are posting about sports. Like
Mhm.
that's for sure true. But it is also true that it's becoming a lot more common for women
Mhm.
to make podcasts and post their opinions and sports takes, all of that good stuff. So I've definitely heard from women of being like, well, you know, the game exists, name one player exists. Like
Mhm.
there are podcasts that exist. And yes, that's true. But exactly what you said, if you have a vision, if you just have a feeling that you want to do something
Yeah.
and you're passionate about it, like just do it. Like trust yourself that you can do it. I love the analogy that you gave of like we trust the bus drivers, we trust the mail carriers to, well, that's a bad example because sometimes they do mess up, but that's okay.
But
People
so does
mess up.
everyone.
We
Same.
we put our trust in them. That's all right.
Yeah.
But it's like, why don't you put your trust and your faith in yourself? I love that. That's gonna
Yeah.
I'll make sure I clip that and post
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I think one of the other things too that has been really interesting, I've had a very curvy professional journey. And one of the things that I think is really interesting is people's relationship to failure. Like I
Hmm.
mentioned, like I feel like I failed in real estate. And frankly,
Okay.
I believe that I failed in real estate because I could not make enough money to support myself in the city that I lived in. I live in San Diego. It's very expensive and I
Hmm.
really struggled and I didn't like it. I wasn't the grind stopped being fun to me like honestly quite quickly. And
Okay.
I said that I'd put some big goals on social media and I didn't hit any of them.
Yeah.
Like, I just straight failed, and when I tell people I feel like I failed in real estate, they're like, "No, you didn't. You didn't." I'm like, "But I did, and that's okay." And like, so what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You put out a podcast, 15 people listen to it, and then you never do it again? Like, okay,
Yeah.
so what?
Totally. Yeah,
Like, if you wanna do it,
exactly.
like, just do what's the worst
Yeah.
that's gonna happen? Somebody from high school is gonna come up to you and say, "I heard your podcast," and you say, "Yeah, that was really fun. What did you do?" Like,
Exactly.
"Ooh."
And honestly, that's what I found is that the people who have a lot to say or in the background, they're probably not actually gonna come up to you and give you negative feedback to your face.
No.
If they do, that's incredibly ballsy of them.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
personally, I don't know, that hasn't happened to me. Nobody's
No.
come up and be like, "It sucks." So just keep that
Yeah.
in mind too,
Yeah,
anybody.
people are just like, "That's so cool. I love what you're doing. That sounds so fun." And you're like, "Yeah, actually, it is fun. I'm
It
having a
is
great
really
time.
fun.
Thank
Yeah.
you."
No, that's so true. I love that advice. I just knew when I had you on that I was like, "Hey, we gotta get Victoria's advice
Yeah.
for
Wait,
everyone as well."
what's your main advice?
I mean, Nike is gonna sue me one of these days, but, like, you literally just have to do it. You have
Yeah.
to I liked what you said of, like, you know, the people who are, like, in the top spots of what inspires you, they yeah, sure, maybe they are meticulous with a lot of things, but, like, they do it their own way, and
Mhm.
there isn't a perfect guide on how to make a podcast and put it out. It is gonna
Yeah.
be so unique to you, and it's just a matter of doing it. I spent months, oh my god, I spent months, like, researching microphones, which, like, yeah, sure, it's good to research, but it doesn't take 2 months to look
Yeah.
up what microphone you wanna get, and then I
Yeah,
ended
for
up
your
just
first episode ever.
yes, exactly, and, I mean, I honestly, I do still have the well, this is a good tip for myself, I do still have the same microphone, I desperately need a new microphone,
What
and
do you have?
I just had this little cheap one from Amazon, and it's doing the job. It's not
Great.
we are at the point where I'm like, I should upgrade with and
Your
that's
show is
okay.
growing. Yeah.
But again, I've been looking at them for months now. Like, I just need to just literally do it, pick one and do it.
This
It
is your
always
sign. When you get off the
it really
call, like, you better
is.
text me a photo of your new mic
Absolutely.
order.
Yeah, the order number and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my advice to everybody. And for me, just do it. Don't let the little logistics get in the way
Yeah.
for too long. Find that balance of sure, do some research, get things
Yeah.
organized, but also don't. It's like that decision paralysis, I think is what they call
Yes.
it. It's like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, what do I do?" Just who cares? If you're just put it
Yeah.
out there and then you
Yeah.
figure it out afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Love it, love it. Now, Victoria, my last question for this episode, because we are about to record the second episode all
Yes.
about our Super Bowl predictions, all about just
Yes.
recapping the season. But before we do that, I want to ask you, and you touched on it a little bit, but I often ask guests if they have any favorite name one player stories. And that can be anything from actually being asked that question to the more common just being dismissed a little bit as a woman
Mm,
in sports. And I can imagine, with the game podcast, my guess would be that there might be some men who have some things to say when they see a woman holding a microphone and
mhm.
giving their sports opinion. So, do you have any fun stories about any times that's happened and then what your reaction was to that and how you went about living your life and still thriving?
Yes. Okay, so I haven't gotten, like, a name one player ever,
Okay.
but I have probably half the time when I tell men about my show, and I think the more confidently that I've begun to present the show, like, now I say, "I have an NFL podcast, and we interview incredible women throughout the NFL and amplify feminine voices when we talk about sport," and I can say it very confidently, and so I
Yeah.
think now that I haven't really thought about this till now, but now that I am presenting it as if this is my show, and I
Yeah.
say that it's what I do for my job, even though it's not what I do for my full-time job, like, it's what I say that I do, it's what I enter with a lot of the time. As I've presented it more confidently, this has kind of gone away, which is interesting,
That's a good point. Okay.
but when I was getting started, a lot of men would say, "Well, what do you have to say about football?" I'd be like,
Well, you should subscribe and listen to the show and give me some
I
views, and then you'll
always
find
tell
out.
them to. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, "Bro, I have a television. All you need, all you need to be an NFL fan is a straight up television and like a
Eyes. Well, not even.
eyes,
You
a
can even
brain."
do it. That's what the Minnesota Vikings are doing now too. Like blind, is it? Yeah, blind players, they can, oh, maybe it might be deaf. No, never
Oh,
mind. I'm
oh,
gonna cut that
yes,
out.
yes,
You
yes.
know the part about yeah, you
Yeah,
don't even
and
need all of your senses to be
right,
a football fan.
right, and then I believe there's a Facebook group for deaf Eagles fans. The Eagles admin, I love NFL social media, like, everyone who does that for, like, the teams are insanely good these days.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
obsessed, but they were doing like, if you stand in the circle, like, the admin's gonna run out and give you, like, the first person who stands in the circle gets tickets or something like that.
Okay.
And so these 2 men were doing whatever you had to be doing for the admin to come up to you. And the admin went up to them and gave them field sideline passes, and then it gave the Deaf Eagles fan Facebook group this whole
Yes.
platform after being posted on their social media with millions of followers.
Yeah,
And in the group, he apparently, like, explains how you can really enjoy the game even if you don't have any hearing.
yeah.
And I just
I
think
love
it's
that.
yeah, like, so special because yeah, like, you can like, if you're blind, you can hear the TV, you can hear the
Yeah.
radio broadcast, you can hear our shows.
Mhm.
So I'm like, yeah, men would ask me like, "What are you gonna talk about?" And I'm like, "Bro, the same thing that you talk
Yeah.
about. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
excuse me?" And they're like, "You've never played." And I'm like, "No, but I was probably a better gymnast than you were a football player." So
Yes. Yes, I get that all the time. That's my favorite argument of like, "Oh, you've never played football." That's also not true. I did play one game of football. My brother played football when I was younger. I hated going to his games. Like, that's also part of why I wasn't a football fan for a long time. I, like, despised it because
yeah,
it, like, ran my life without
yes.
me giving consent to it because I'm this
Yeah.
little child and I'm just being driven around in the car having to watch my brother play football. But I did play a game one of his little rec league teams,
I love
and
it.
I did nothing, but I played,
But you were in
and
it.
yeah, so don't tell me that I've never played football because I did play football, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, "Actually, I did."
That
No,
is such a
that's
good point, though, about,
awesome.
these men, and that it really does seem to be the first thing that comes out of their mouth, but it is so cool to hear how you're saying that, if you come from it from a place of confidence and it's like, "No,
Mhm.
this is what I do." I also love that point, and that's where I'm trying to get to, like, I do have a full-time job. This is not the only thing that I do, but I'd love for it to be the only thing that I do,
Hell
and
yeah,
it's like,
sis,
why
let's
aren't
go.
we putting ourselves out there as like, "No, this
Mhm.
is what I do. I'm a podcaster." But when you have that confidence, like, imagine you come out so confident, you say, "This is what I do. I have this NFL podcast. I interview incredible women. I amplify the voices of women in the NFL." And they say, "What do you know about the NFL?"
Yeah,
Imagine
it's like
getting that. It's like, did you just listen to what I said? Like, so I love that tip. That is a really good thing to know. But then also, like, the fact that people, men in particular, were saying this before,
Yeah. And I
don't
think,
love it.
I think that like it's a lot of like internalized patriarchal beliefs are not because someone's an asshole all the time. Like sometimes they
Yes,
are.
very good
And like
point.
there's a lot of men who are trash, right?
Yeah,
But I think
yeah,
that when you tell people that you're doing something like so out of the realm of
yeah,
anything that they have ever considered, they're just like, I don't even know what to say.
yeah.
And so it's like some of my guy friends have been like, well, what do you know about? And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah. No, that's such a good point. And I
yeah.
mean, speaking to, I think a lot of it does. Oh, my light just died. That's okay. A lot of it does have to do with jealousy. A lot of men, they'd love to have a podcast and get out and
Mhm.
talk about their sports opinions, but
Yeah.
they probably also feel like they don't know enough to talk about sports. So it's like, what
Yeah.
could this woman know if
Yeah.
they feel like they don't know enough? But that's a them problem. I
It's
hope
not a
that they
problem.
find the confidence
Yeah.
within themselves.
If
Maybe
they
they
want
should
any advice
listen.
on starting a podcast, they can call me.
Yeah, they can listen to this clip. Well, again, we'll
Yeah.
put it out on TikTok. Maybe it'll come across their For You pages
Yeah.
and they'll feel inspired.
Yeah. Or in 5 years, I can employ them.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can send a job application to work at the gay media.
Perfect. Best of luck to them. I hope their interview skills improve by that
Yeah,
time.
I hope their interview skills are better than their question asking.
Yes, yes. All right, Victoria, thank you so much for this episode. This has been so great. I'm so excited to now get into our next episode,
Yes.
talking all about our Super Bowl predictions. It's going to be so fun. But thank you for coming on, telling us a
Thank you
little
for
bit about
having me.
yourself and hearing all about the game. I can't wait to follow along with the rebrand and, see your next episodes that are slated to come out.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks, Victoria. Thank you so much to Victoria for joining us today and chatting all about her experience becoming an NFL fan, why she started the Game podcast, and all about her rebrand. I am so excited to see how the game continues to grow. It is such a fun podcast. So, everybody, be sure to go listen if you haven't already. I will be sure to link all of the social media for the game so that you can go and follow along with what Victoria is creating and all of the fun episodes that she's putting out. I highly recommend that you go listen. It's just such an incredible show. If you liked today's episode with Victoria, guess what? You are in major luck because we have another episode coming out in a few days. Like I said a few times, Victoria and I are going to be chatting about the NFL season, just how odd of a season it was, and the fact that the Seahawks and the Patriots are about to play in the Super Bowl in a few days, which is really exciting. I'm excited to sit down and watch that game, but you'll hear all of my thoughts and Victoria's thoughts in the next episode. Before I go, I just want to thank everybody again for listening. It means so much to me. I genuinely appreciate it. If you haven't already, please be sure to follow the Name One Player on whatever social media you use. Whatever platform you're listening to the podcast, if you can subscribe to the show, like the show, rate the show. I think 5 stars is the most appropriate rating, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do what you see fit. If you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, I would love it if you commented and let me and Victoria know what you thought of the episode. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here, but I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and an amazing rest of your week. I hope you're getting ready for the Super Bowl coming up. And if you're not, that's okay too. I hope you're having a great week regardless. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.